Hello, welcome to the Learn English Lab.
Hi there.
Today you're joining us for a comprehensive exploration of over 60 advanced English vocabulary words, all starting with the letter C.
That's right, quite a list.
Think of this as your shortcut, maybe, to really elevating your English proficiency. We're not just giving you dictionary definitions, are we?
No, definitely not. We're digging into the subtle differences in how these words are used. Plus, we'll offer some memory tricks to help them stick.
Exactly. Our goal is that you'll walk away with a richer understanding of these powerful words, ready to express yourself with, greater precision and sophistication.
Hopefully.
Okay, let's dive straight in with cabinet. Now, this word has a really interesting double life, doesn't it?
It certainly does. You might hear about the president holding a cabinet meeting to discuss foreign policy. And in that instance, it refers to a group of their most senior government ministers.
Right. The political advisors?
Yes. But then, in a completely different context, you have the kitchen cabinet, where you might keep all your wine glasses neatly stored, just a piece of furniture.
Right. So you could have a scenario where the cabinet was quite divided over a new economic strategy, that's the political sense.
Exactly.
And then later on, someone could be looking for more storage and suggest, we really need another cabinet in the dining room. It's quite remarkable how different the uses are.
It is, and there's a handy way to recall the government meaning, isn't there?
Oh, yeah.
Well, you could picture a cab, like a taxi, filled with important network advisors. That little mental image can be quite effective.
A cab full of advisors.
No.
I like it. Okay, let's move on to calculation. Our first thought usually goes to numbers, doesn't it?
Almost always, like his tax calculation was incorrect, which unfortunately led to penalties. Or maybe the engineer's careful calculation actually prevented a potential failure.
Sure. Math stuff.
Absolutely. That's the direct mathematical meaning. But calculation can also describe very careful planning.
Ah, okay. How so?
For example, you might hear someone say, her decision wasn't driven by emotion, it was pure calculation. Here, it suggests a very deliberate, thought-out approach.
So less about numbers, more about strategy.
Precisely. It's interesting how calculation applies to both math and strategic planning. What do you think is the core element linking them?
That's a good question, I suppose. Well, in both cases, it involves a structured, step-by-step process to arrive at a result, whether that's a numerical answer or a well-considered decision.
Methodical thinking?
Yeah, thinking things through methodically. Speaking of method, what's a good way to remember both sides of calculation?
Well, a simple association with a calculator crunching numbers nicely covers the numerical side.
Easy enough.
And for the planning sense, just remember that using a calculator often involves careful step-by-step thinking, much like making a calculated decision.
Makes sense. Okay, next up is canvas. Now, for me, the immediate connection is to the world of art.
Yeah, me too.
The artist dedicated months to perfecting the portrait on canvas. That really paints a picture, doesn't it?
It certainly does. It's that strong sort of rough cloth that artists rely on. A clean canvas awaits the painter's imagination. It really represents potential, the start of something new. But its use isn't confined to the art studio, of course.
That's true. Think back to older styles of tents, maybe.
Right. The tent was constructed from waterproof canvas. So it speaks to artistic creation, but also practicality, durability.
So how can we connect those two different ideas?
Well, the mnemonic can plus visualize can be quite helpful.
Can visualize, okay.
Whether it's an artist visualizing their masterpiece on the fabric or someone visualizing shelter in a sturdy tent, canvas provides that fundamental base, a surface for creation, really.
I see. Okay, our next word is capability. This one really feels like it centers on what someone or something is able to do.
That's the very essence of it. The team possesses the capability to finish the project on schedule. It refers to the power or the ability to perform a specific task. You might also hear, his capability as a leader is beyond question, highlighting a natural skill, maybe.
Or a developed one.
Or developed, yes. And even technology has capabilities, like the new software significantly enhances our data processing capability.
So it really spans a range of abilities, natural talents, acquired skills, even what tools can do.
How can we easily recall the meaning of capability?
Good question. What do you think?
Maybe think of cap, like a superhero's cape. It often suggests special powers or inherent strength, that fundamental idea of being able to accomplish something significant.
Nice one. Okay, now we're moving into the realm of economics with capitalism. This is a big concept.
Huge. We're talking about an economic system fundamentally based on private ownership and free markets.
It's not just about private ownership, though, is it? There's this constant tension between innovation and equity.
Definitely. It's a system where individuals and companies own resources and competition is crucial. You'll often hear things like, capitalism tends to encourage innovation through competition.
But there are criticisms, too.
Of course. Critics often argue that capitalism unfortunately widens the gap between the wealthy and those with fewer resources. It's a system that generates a lot of debate.
Yeah, you could say that again.
And at its core, under capitalism, success is frequently linked to performance within the market. The idea of capital money, resources being the driver, is key.
Which leads us quite naturally to capitalists. This can be a noun or an adjective, right?
It can. As a noun, it refers to an individual who supports or actively benefits from capitalism, like the capitalist made substantial investments in several promising startups.
Okay, so the person.
And as an adjective, it describes things related to capitalism, as in, capitalist societies often place a strong emphasis on individual wealth.
Or you might hear.
As a capitalist, she held a firm belief in minimal government intervention.
Right, so it's the system itself, capitalism, and then the people involved, capitalists. How do we keep them straight?
It's pretty direct. Just remember that capital is the root of capitalism, the system. Then a capitalist is simply someone who uses capital to generate more wealth within that system.
Got it. Let's shift focus to cargo. This one thankfully seems quite straightforward.
Yeah, relatively simple. It refers to goods that are transported by ships, aircraft, or other large vehicles.
So like, this ship was carrying a large cargo of crude oil.
Exactly. Or customs inspectors carefully check the cargo for any prohibited items. It's all about the goods being moved.
So if you see a big truck or a freight train, the stuff inside is a cargo.
Pretty much. Is there a simple way to recall this one?
What do you suggest?
Car plus go. Just picture things that cars or other large vehicles carry when they go places.
Cargo. Simple. Okay. Our next word, carriage, presents a few different meanings. Can be a bit confusing.
It can. The first image, like you said, often comes from period dramas. A vehicle, especially one drawn by horses.
Yeah. The elegant bride arrived in a pristine white horse-drawn carriage. Very fairy tale.
That's the classic image. However, it also has a more modern meaning, a section of a train.
Oh, right. Like, the train's first carriage is reserved exclusively for first-class passengers. We do use it that way.
We do. And then there's a third meaning related to the act of transporting something.
How so?
As in, strict regulations control the carriage of hazardous materials. So the act of carrying.
Okay, so vehicle, train part, or the act of transport. They all seem to relate back to moving things or people.
Indeed. The underlying theme is transportation.
Given these varied meanings, what's a good strategy for keeping them all straight?
Well, the word carry is right there in carriage.
Ah, good point.
Whether it's carrying people in a horse-drawn vehicle, a train section, or the carriage of goods, the fundamental idea is movement.
Makes sense. Now we come to carve. We often think of physically shaping something by cutting, right?
Yeah, like she carefully carved her initials into the smooth tree trunk, or the skilled chef expertly carved the roast turkey.
Literal cutting.
Those are the literal applications. But carve can also be used more figuratively.
How?
To describe creating a path or position for oneself. Like, he diligently carved out a successful niche for himself in the competitive tech industry.
Ah, so carving out a career, not just wood.
Exactly. It's not always about a sharp tool. It can be about creating something through effort and skill.
So how can we link these literal and figurative senses?
The image of a carving knife meticulously shaping something captures the literal sense well.
Right.
For the metaphorical use, think of someone using their abilities to carve a career or make an impact, creating something distinct through focused effort, just like physical carving.
Gotcha. Okay, our next word is casino. This one's pretty universally understood, I think.
Yeah, a place specifically designed and equipped for gambling. Pretty clear.
Just picture Las Vegas, right?
Yeah.
Famous for its glamorous casinos.
Or just a casual evening at a local casino playing blackjack. It's all about games of chance, wagering money.
And unfortunately,
as the saying goes, it's also a place where you can lose a fortune.
True. So a dedicated place for gambling. Is there an easy way to remember casino?
Maybe cash in, cash out.
Ah, that works.
It kind of encapsulates the essence, exchanging money for chips, hoping to win more cash, or, well, not.
Okay. Moving on to a more serious word, casualty. This primarily refers to a person killed or injured in war or a significant accident.
Sadly, yes, we hear it in news reports. There were several casualties reported following the devastating explosion.
Their emergency responders rushed to treat the casualties.
Exactly. But casualty can also have a broader metaphorical meaning.
Oh.
It can refer to something that suffers or is lost as an indirect consequence. For instance, the once thriving local economy became an unfortunate casualty of the prolonged political crisis.
Ah, so not a person injured, but something else damaged indirectly.
Right. It doesn't always involve direct physical harm.
How can we keep both senses of casualty in mind?
Well, maybe casual plus injury can help with the primary meaning, an unexpected injury or death.
Okay. For the indirect sense, think of something valuable being unintentionally harmed, a casual or unintended consequence of a larger event.
Interesting. Okay, next up, catalog. This can be a noun and a verb.
Can. As a noun, it's a comprehensive list or record, typically of items for sale or display.
Like, I found the product I was looking for in the store's printed catalog.
Precisely. Or, she possesses an extensive catalog of rare vintage music albums.
And the verb.
To systematically list or organize items. As in, the museum staff meticulously cataloged all of its ancient artifacts. It's about creating organized records.
So, whether browsing a catalog or making one, it's about organization, listing things. What's a helpful memory trick?
Think of catalog, almost like a log or record of cats or any items. It emphasizes the systematic listing.
Catalog, okay. Our next verb is cater. Often about food or services, right?
Very often. The renowned restaurant expertly catered the entire wedding reception.
Yeah.
Or they regularly cater gourmet meals to corporate offices.
But it has another meaning, too. Yes, a more metaphorical sense. To specifically provide what is needed or desired by someone or a group.
Right.
This introductory course is specifically designed to cater to the needs of beginner-level students, addressing particular needs.
So, providing food or providing what's needed for a specific group, how can we remember cater?
Picture a helpful cat bringing you food the cat is catering to your needs.
A catering cat. I like it.
So cater essentially means to serve or provide something required.
Got it. Now we have cattle. This is a noun, always plural, referring to.
Large domesticated animals like cows and bulls raised primarily for milk or meat.
Right. You hear farmers say the farm currently has over 200 head of cattle.
Or you might see them. The cattle peacefully grazed in the expansive open field. It's a key term in agriculture.
Absolutely crucial for farming and food production. Is there a simple way to remember cattle?
Maybe think of cat, but bigger.
Huh. Big farm cats.
Sort of. Large domesticated animals on farms.
Okay. Our next word, caution, can be a noun or a verb. As a noun.
It signifies careful attention taken to avoid potential danger or mistakes. Like, drivers should proceed with extreme caution in dense fog.
Or her inherent caution saved them from a significant financial loss. Being careful.
Exactly. And as a verb, it means to advise or warn someone to act carefully.
Like the police officer strongly cautioned him about his risky behavior.
Yes. It's all about being mindful of risks or warning others.
So, acting with care or advising care. What's a strong visual for caution?
Picture bright yellow caution tape stretched across an area.
Oh yeah, definitely.
It's a clear warning. Be careful, avoid hazards.
Which leads us smoothly to the adjective cautious, describing someone who is.
Careful to avoid danger, risk, or potential mistakes.
So a cautious investor avoids risky ventures.
Exactly. Or someone being cautious not to wake the baby. And a cautious approach often leads to steady progress.
So cautious is just the adjective for someone who shows caution. Pretty linked.
Very closely. A cautious person acts with caution. Same core meaning.
Okay. Our next verb is cease. Means to stop or end, but sounds more formal.
Definitely more formal than just stop. You might read, hostilities ceased after the peace treaty was signed.
Or, the company ceased production due to financial difficulties. Sounds quite final.
It does. It's often used in official contexts. Though you might also hear, he never ceases to amaze me, meaning it doesn't stop.
Ah, right. So a more definitive, often formal way to say stop? Any memory aids?
Seize sounds a bit like seize. Imagine you forcefully seize an action and bring it to a halt.
Seize and stop.
Okay.
Now, cemetery. A noun? Pretty straightforward.
Yes, a designated place where the deceased are buried. a graveyard, a place for final rest.
You might say, the cemetery was quiet and peaceful at dawn.
Or they visited their grandfather's grave at the cemetery. Sometimes towns need to build new ones.
A place of solemnity, respect. Not too tricky to remember, I think.
No, generally well known.
Okay, our next noun, chamber, has a couple of key meanings. First one.
A room, often private or official, like the king held meetings in the royal chamber.
Or even technically, the bullet was loaded into the chamber of the gun, an enclosed space.
That's right. But chamber also refers to a specific legislative or judicial body.
Like,
The upper chamber of parliament voted against the bill, or the chamber of commerce.
so a physical room or a formal group? How do we keep those distinct?
Think of chamber music performed in a small room. That's the space aspect.
Okay.
For the group sense, think of a chamber of deputies, the room where officials meet, but also the group itself.
Got it. Our next noun is chaos. Describes a state of complete disorder and utter confusion. We've all felt that.
Unfortunately, yes. After the announcement, chaos broke out in the room.
Or, the streets were in chaos after the storm. Total mess.
Exactly. And some people might describe their busy schedule as complete chaos, everything out of control.
Definitely. What's a memorable way to think about chaos?
Well, chaos sounds a bit like chaotic mess when you say it.
It does.
And that's what it is, total disorder.
Okay. Moving to the verb characterize means to describe the distinctive nature or key features, identifying what makes something stand out.
Precisely. His work is characterized by meticulous attention to detail.
Or, the region is characterized by a warm climate and beautiful beaches.
You could also characterize someone, she characterized him as honest and hardworking, defining essential qualities.
Pinpointing what's unique and worth noting the spelling difference. A's in British, A's in American English.
Good point. How to remember the meaning.
Well,
The word character is right inside characterize. To characterize something is to define its character or nature.
makes perfect sense. Next, charm. Noun and verb.
Yes, as a noun, it's the quality of being pleasing or genuinely attractive.
Like, the old house had a certain charm despite its age.
Or her smile had a magical charm that lit up the room, that appealing quality.
And the verb.
To please or attract someone through personal qualities, like he charmed the audience with his wit and charisma, using that appeal.
So the quality itself and the act of using it. How to remember both.
Picture a charm bracelet worn to attract attention, maybe bring luck. It embodies that pleasant quality.
And someone charming uses their personality like that.
Exactly, to create a positive impression.
Okay, next word, charter. Also a noun and a verb, the noun first.
As a noun, it's a formal written document granting specific rights or privileges.
Like, the organization operates under a royal charter.
Yes, or the school was established as a charter school, a foundational document.
And the verb.
To rent or lease a service, like a vehicle or boat. For instance, they chartered a private jet for the event, hiring something exclusively.
So, official authorization via document or hiring something for private use, keeping them clear.
Think of a chart as a written document. A charter, noun, is a formal written authorization.
And the verb.
Connect it to hiring a chartered boat, renting the whole service.
Got it. Now we have choir, a noun meaning.
A carefully organized group of people who sing together, often in a church or for a performance.
Associated with religious services or concerts. She sings soprano in the church choir.
Or the school choir performed at the concert. The sound can be powerful, right? Echoing in a cathedral.
Definitely. A collective of voices creating harmony. How to remember choir.
Think of choir as a group focused on harmony. The silent H might even suggest harmony or quiet focus.
Nice touch. Next adjective.
Oh.
Chronic, meaning persisting for a long time or frequently recurring, often medical.
Often, yes.
Yeah.
She suffers from chronic back pain, something long-lasting.
But not always medical.
No. You could talk about chronic unemployment as an ongoing issue, or someone's chronic lateness being frustrating. It signifies a persistent problem.
Something that doesn't easily go away or keeps coming back. How to remember chronic.
Chronic sounds like chrono, the Greek root for time.
Like chronology.
Exactly. So think of something that lasts for a long time.
Perfect. Our next noun is chunk. Describes a thick or substantial piece of something. Very tangible.
It is. He had a big chunk of chocolate.
Or, she wrote a chunk of her essay before lunch. A significant part.
It can also be more abstract. A large chunk of the budget was spent on marketing, a considerable portion.
So, a significant piece or part. Simple way to recall chunk.
Chunk just sounds chunky.
It does. It does. Solid, substantial.
That's the essence of it.
Okay, now the verb circulate, meaning to move around freely within a system or be passed from person to person.
Exactly. Blood circulates through the body, continuous movement.
Or the memo circulated around the office, passed along.
And rumors began to circulate about his resignation, spreading around. It's about movement within a system or group.
A continuous flow or widespread distribution. Key to remembering, circulate.
It comes from circle. To circulate is to move in a loop or around something.
Which leads us to the noun circulation, which is
the movement of something, blood, air, money, news, around an area or system.
like poor circulation can cause numbness.
Yes, or the newspaper has a wild circulation, how widely it's distributed.
Or even increasing money circulation boosts the economy, the movement of money.
Right, it's the noun form directly related to the verb circulate.
So circulate is the action, circulation is the process or result. Easy to link.
Very easy. Both share that core idea of circular or widespread movement.
Okay, our next noun, citizenship, refers to
The official status of being a legally recognized citizen of a particular country with associated rights and responsibilities, belonging to a nation.
So someone might apply for U.S. citizenship.
Right. Or we talk about good citizenship, including voting and respecting laws, and some people have dual citizenship.
It's about legal standing, rights, duties. Easy way to remember citizenship.
Think citizen plus iniship, which often denotes a state or condition.
So the state of being a citizen. Simple enough.
Exactly.
The adjective civic, meaning relating to a city or town or to the responsibilities of being a citizen.
Correct. Civic responsibility includes participating in elections.
A civic center might hold town hall meetings.
And civic pride can motivate volunteering. It's about our role in our local community.
Our connection to our city or town and our duties there. Helpful association for civic.
Civic sounds a lot like city. Think of things related to your city and your role as a citizen there.
Good one. Next word, civilian. Noun or adjective?
Both. As a noun, a person not in the armed forces or police, making that distinction.
Like, the attack caused numerous civilian casualties.
Or civilians were evacuated from the war zone, people not in uniform, essentially.
And the adjective?
Describe something related to civilians. The building is for civilian use, not military, distinguishing from military police.
So the everyday person, not military or police. Easy recall.
Think of civil society, the general population, distinct from military or police forces.
Got it. Next noun, clarity. Describes the quality of being clear and easy to understand, or visually clear. We value clarity.
Absolutely. The clarity of her explanation made the topic easier to grasp.
Or a photo lacking clarity due to bad lighting.
And a speaker communicates with clarity. No ambiguity, no obscurity.
Being easily understood or visually sharp. Straightforward way to remember clarity.
Clarity sounds just like clear. It's the state of being clear.
Perfect. Next, clash. Noun or verb as a noun.
A significant conflict or strong disagreement, like there was a violent clash between protesters and police.
Or figuratively, there's a clash of values between generations. Strong disagreement.
And as a verb, to come into direct conflict or be strikingly incompatible.
Like the two leaders clash over environmental policies.
Or even aesthetically, her bright red shoes clashed with her green dress. Not harmonious.
So physical fight, figurative disagreement, or things not looking right together. Memorable image for clash.
Think of the sharp, loud sound clash when two hard objects collide.
Yes, that captures the impact and conflict.
Exactly.
Okay, next down, classification. The systematic action or process of categorizing items into groups based on shared characteristics. We see this everywhere.
Indeed. Scientific classification of animals.
Security classification for documents.
And proper classification makes data retrieval easier. It's all about organization.
Putting things into logical categories. Simple way to remember classification.
The word class is right in there. To classify is to put something into a specific class or group.
Makes sense. Next verb, cling, meaning to hold on tightly or stick closely, can be physical.
Yes, like the child clung to her mother's hand, holding tight.
Or wet clothes tend to cling to the skin, sticking closely.
And it can be emotional too. She clung to the hope that he would return. Strong attachment.
Physical or emotional attachment. Good visual for cling.
Picture cling film plastic wrap. It tightly sticks to whatever it covers.
Ah, good one. Captures that sticking quality. Next adjective, clinical. Couple of distinct meanings. First is medical.
Yes, most common. Relating to direct medical treatment or observation, like he received clinical treatment for his injury.
Or the clinical trial will last for 12 months. Related to clinics, hospitals.
That's the primary medical sense. But clinical can also describe something different.
How so?
Cold and conspicuously unemotional in manner or approach.
Like her tone was cold and clinical. Detached, analytical.
Exactly. It suggests that objective, sometimes seemingly unemotional perspective found in some medical or scientific settings.
So related to medical treatment, or describing a cold, unemotional manner. How to keep these two in mind?
Well, the clinic part points to the medical meaning, and that medical setting often requires objectivity, which can sometimes come across as detached or clinical in the second sense.
Okay, I see the link. Next now. Closure. Two main interpretations. First,
The act of physically closing or shutting something, like the factory's closure led to job losses.
or the road closure due to construction. Physically closed.
And the second, more emotional meaning.
Yes. A sense of emotional conclusion, acceptance, or resolution regarding a difficult event.
Right. She found closure after speaking to her late father's friend, bringing something to an end, emotionally.
So a definite ending, physical or emotional, helpful way to remember closure.
Think close plus sure. When something reaches closure, you're sure it's closed or resolved.
Close and sure. Got it. Next word, cluster. Noun or verb as a noun.
A closely grouped collection of similar things or people, like a cluster of stars was visible.
Or she found a cluster of mushrooms near the tree, grouped together.
And as a verb, to gather together in a close group, such as the houses are clustered around the park.
So stars, mushrooms, houses, a tight grouping. Memorable way to think of cluster.
Cluster sounds a bit like clump. Imagine a dense clump of grapes or people, closely gathered.
Clump, cluster. Okay, next now. Coalition, meaning
A temporary alliance or partnership for combined action, particularly among political parties or organizations.
often to achieve a specific goal.
Exactly. The two parties formed a coalition to gain a majority.
Or maybe a coalition of environmentalists and students protested the project. Different groups working together.
Yes. But they can be fragile. The coalition fell apart due to internal disagreements, usually temporary.
So groups teaming up for a common goal, often short-term. How to remember coalition.
Think co together plus alliance. It's essentially a working alliance.
Makes sense. Next adjective, coastal, meaning located on or near a coast. Conjures up sea images.
It certainly does. They live in a beautiful coastal village.
Or worries about coastal erosion.
And a coastal road offers stunning ocean views. It's all about being near the sea.
Geographically defined by proximity to the ocean. Straightforward way to remember coastal.
Break it down. Coast plus all of felt, relating to the coast.
Simple. Okay, next noun. Cocktail. Most people think.
An alcoholic mixed drink, like ordering a fruity cocktail at a beach bar. That's the common one.
But it has a metaphorical meaning too.
It does. A varied mixture of different elements or ingredients.
Right.
The event offered a cocktail of music, art, and food. A mix of things.
Or medically, he was treated with a cocktail of drugs. A combination.
Right. So, combining various things, drinks or otherwise, how to remember the broader meaning. Picture that drink with many ingredients stirred together. A cocktail, in the wider sense, is just a blend or mix of different components.
Got it. Next adjective. Cognitive. Related to.
The various mental processes. Thinking, reasoning, memory, perception, how our minds work.
So sleep deprivation affects cognitive performance.
Exactly. Or cognitive development in children. And meditation might improve cognitive function. Pertains to mental capabilities.
The process in our minds.
Yeah.
How to remember cognitive.
Think of like in cogitation related to thinking. Cognitive functions are related to thinking.
Think. Okay.
Yeah.
Next verb. Coincide. Means either happen at the same time or...
Agree or match, exactly.
So their birthdays coincide in the same month,
Yes.
same time.
Yes, or events sometimes coincide unexpectedly, but also for agreement. The two statements do not coincide, they don't match.
Or our goals coincide with the company's mission. They align.
Right. Timing or alignment. How to remember both aspects.
Good question.
Think co together plus inside in time. Events happening together in the same time frame.
And the agreement part.
That also suggests things coming together, aligning.
Okay, next verb. Collaborate. Meaning to work jointly with others. especially creatively or intellectually.
That's the common positive meaning. Two authors collaborated on a novel.
Or scientists worldwide collaborate to solve global issues. Teamwork.
Yes, but historically, it could also mean working with an enemy. Important nuance.
Yeah, good to know.
Uh-huh.
But mostly positive teamwork now. How to remember collaborate.
Co, together, plus labor, work. To collaborate is to work together.
Simple. Which leads directly to the noun collaboration.
Which is the action or process of working together. The noun form of the verb.
Like this song is a collaboration between two artists.
Or effective collaboration is key to innovation, the teamwork itself.
But also, the project failed due to poor collaboration, lack of teamwork.
Exactly. So collaborate is the action, collaboration is the process or result. Clearly linked.
It's very clear. Next word, collective. Adjective or noun? As an adjective.
Done or shared by people acting together as a group. Like the decision was made through collective agreement.
Or collective efforts can lead to great achievements, group action.
And as a noun, a group of people working together with a shared goal.
For example.
A collective of artists opened a shared gallery. A unified group emphasizes group action.
Shared action or a unified group. How to remember collective.
Think of collect, to gather together. Collective refers to something gathered or done by a group.
Got it. Next noun. Collision. Describes a forceful, often violent impact between moving objects, like car crashes.
Yes, the car was damaged in a head-on collision. These cause traffic backups.
But can be metaphorical too.
They can, describing a clash of ideas or principles. There's a collision of values between generations. Forceful disagreement.
So forceful impact, physical or conceptual. Simple way to remember collision.
Sounds like collide. A collision is just the event of things colliding.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Next adjective. Colonial. Relation to.
A colony, or the historical period of colonialism, refers to historical eras and their impacts.
Like the country still bears traces of its colonial past.
Or colonial architecture as a tourist attraction. And protests against colonial policies about the historical period of colonies.
Directly connected to establishing colonies.
Yeah.
Straightforward way to remember colonial.
Colony plus L, relating to.
Relating to colonies.
Easy enough. Next noun, columnist, refers to.
A journalist who regularly writes articles or opinion pieces, often under their own name for a publication. Newspapers, online platforms.
Like, he became a popular columnist for the national newspaper, offering perspectives.
A political columnist might critique policies.
Okay.
A lifestyle columnist covers everyday life. Regular written commentary.
Regular writers offering analysis, key to remembering columnist.
Picture someone writing in a newspaper column. That's what a columnist does.
Perfect. Next word, combat. Noun or verb. As a noun,
Active fighting between opposing armed forces. Serious stuff. He died in combat during the war. Or soldiers trained in hand-to-hand combat. Actual fighting.
but as a verb, to actively take action, to reduce or prevent something harmful.
Like, we must combat climate change.
Yes, or doctors combat diseases, actively working against something negative.
So physical fighting or fighting against a problem, keeping both senses in mind.
Maybe combat helps trigger the fighting idea.
Possibly.
For the verb, think of actively battling or fighting against a problem.
Okay, next verb, commence, meaning to officially begin or start. Sounds formal again.
Definitely. The meeting will commence at 9 a.m. sharp.
Or, they commence building the new library in April. More official than start.
A ceremony might commence with a welcome speech.
A formal way to say begin. Helpful association.
Think of a commencement ceremony. Graduation marks the beginning of something new.
Ah, right. Commencement, commence. Got it. Next noun, commentary.
Which is a spoken or written series of explanations or opinions providing insight into an event or situation, like sports broadcasts.
Yeah, live commentary added excitement to the football match.
Or a documentary offering critical commentary on political corruption.
Or a book including commentary on ancient Greek text, providing interpretation.
Exactly. Extra explanation or perspective. Simple way to remember commentary.
Let's hear.
Comment plus a scenery, often meaning collection. So a collection of comments or explanations.
Nice. Which naturally leads to commentator, the person who...
Provides commentary, especially on news, sports, etc. You hear them on broadcasts.
A sports commentator describes the game.
A political commentator analyzes events. A strategy commentator explains tactics. They deliver the commentary.
The individual's giving the commentary. Connection is clear.
Very. A commentator gives commentary.
Okay. Next noun. Commerce Describe.
Large-scale activity of buying and selling goods and services, especially between countries. Basis of economies.
Like the internet has transformed global commerce.
Laws regulate commerce, and international commerce is vital for many economies, fundamentally about trade.
The overall system of trade. Helpful way to remember commerce.
Think of e-commerce, buying and selling online. Highlights the core activity, exchange of goods services.
Good example. Next noun. Commissioner refers to.
An official in charge of a specific government department or public organization, or sometimes in sports.
Like a police commissioner heading the force.
Yes, or an EU trade commissioner, or a league commissioner in sports. High-ranking officials with specific responsibilities.
Officials with authority. Good association for commissioner.
Think mission. A commissioner is often given a specific mission or responsibility to manage.
Commissioner on a mission.
Okay.
Next noun. Commodity. Describes.
A basic raw material or primary agricultural product bought and sold in bulk, like oil, gold, wheat.
Fundamental goods traded in large quantities. Oil is a major commodity.
Prices of agricultural commodities fluctuate, but it can also be metaphorical.
How so?
Referring to something highly valued or useful, like, in today's world, time is a precious commodity.
Ah, okay. Basic goods or something valuable. How to remember commodity?
Maybe common plus mod type. A common type of trade item or something commonly valued.
Could work. Next word, communist. Noun or adjective relating to that political ideology.
Right. Advocating classless society, public ownership. As a noun, the person. He was labeled a communist. As an adjective relating to it, a communist regime.
Or communist ideologies oppose capitalism.
Exactly. The system and its adherents. How to remember communist. Think of the root common shared resources. Common ownership is central to the ideology.
Got it. Next noun, companion. Refers to.
A person or animal that regularly goes along with someone providing friendship, support, or company.
Like the dog was her loyal companion.
Or he traveled with a companion. Even a good book can be a comforting companion. Shared presence, connection.
Someone or something providing company. How to remember companion.
Competent plus panion related to partner. Someone you are with, a partner in friendship or travel.
Makes sense. Next adjective. Comparable, meaning.
Able to be compared, similar in quality, amount, or size.
Like, this phone is comparable in price to its competitors.
Or, her skills are comparable to those of a senior manager. Similar enough to compare.
The weather here is comparable to that in southern France. Identifying similarities.
Exactly. Things similar enough for meaningful comparison. Straightforward way to remember comparable.
It seems obvious.
It comes directly from compare. If things are comparable, you can compare them.
Right. And finally, our last word for this deep dive. Compassion. A noun meaning.
A deep feeling of sympathetic concern and sorrow for others' suffering or misfortunes. A really important quality.
It is. It's not just feeling. It's recognizing shared humanity. Driving positive action.
Well said. The nurse treated the patient with compassion.
Compassion is essential in caregiving.
And showing compassion for the homeless demonstrates empathy and kindness. Feeling for others, wanting to help.
Empathy plus a desire to help. A meaningful way to remember compassion.
Think come with plus passion. Feeling with others, sharing their suffering emotionally, being moved to help.
Feeling with passion.
Nice.
Okay, that brings us to the conclusion of this detailed exploration of over 60 C1 advanced vocabulary words starting with C.
Quite a journey through the C's.
It was. We sincerely hope this deep dive has not only significantly expanded your vocabulary, but maybe equipped you with some useful techniques to remember these words.
And their nuances, hopefully.
Yes. Remember, truly mastering advanced vocabulary takes consistent effort, dedicated practice over time.
It doesn't happen overnight.
Definitely not. We encourage you to actively try incorporating these new words into your speaking and writing. Really solidify your understanding. Make them a natural part of your English.
That's the best way to learn. Use them.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And finally, if you found this helpful, please do like, share, and subscribe to this YouTube channel for more valuable language learning content.
Thanks for joining us.